I don't know who opened the Chamber of Secrets, but there's another stream in a short sense. Oh, that is it. I've just been really enjoying the idea of this series, alright? And I think I've got my roller skates now. And as I mentioned in the Discord, I had some time today and I felt a little bit tired. Between then and now I had a nap, so I feel less tired, which is really good. And I felt like it's only appropriate to get the XP share here, which it is, to celebrate my application for partnership getting approved in one way or another. So here we go. My first stream as a official YouTube partner for the first time in probably 2 years? Question mark? I think. Is it on by default? Or I never know if... Okay, this is why I need chat, okay? I've got the XP share here. It says off. By pressing this button, does it turn off? Or does it saying off mean right now it's off? Because I never know. And I think they should communicate that a little bit more clearly. If I'm being honest with you. We do have a new encounter here. It turns off. So it is on right now. Press it. Press it. But I want it to be on, is the thing. Right? It was turned off. Yeah, but I don't want that. It was turned on. Good. I'm turning it on. I'm not doing this to have a very difficult playthrough. Get a do, of course. I'm not doing this to get a very difficult playthrough. I'm doing this to just have fun. So anything to make it easier on me, I'll take. Also, I did not fill up my bottle of water before starting this stream, so I might have to go fill that up halfway through. But it's going to be a short one either way, probably. So we'll be fine. I need to remind myself that I'm actually not resisting its grass moves. It's probably using super effective absorbs against me right now, which isn't good for me. Then again, Badoo doesn't have a great number of stats, so I think we'll be able to catch Badoo. And how are we going to call it when we catch it? Because it's Badoo. What up? What up? What up? Welcome to the team. We don't really care about you until you evolve, which won't be for a while. This is a canon episode until I lose my entire team, at which point it'll become filler. That's how this works. Now, last episode we lost against the first gym leader due to a combination of mistakes on my part. We decided, well, we can just end it here, or we can restart it. We're not going to be doing that every single time I wipe out, because that would be... I'm doing this the wrong way around. Because that would just kind of defeat the point of a nuzlocke, wouldn't it? I wanted to capitalize it. Where is the shift key? You know what? I've got a touchscreen, which means I've got a mouse and keyboard. What up? Well, that's that. Okay, that's our encounter for this route. Is there any other places around here I can actually capture Pokemon? I don't think there is. No, there's a place here I can get a drink, potentially, but that's about it. Okay, I'm just going to ignore like all of the Pokeballs around here and pretty much like just everything around here. We'll probably come back to do some grinding, but I think we can get our second starter soon. And I'd rather have that on my team when taking on all of these trainers, because obviously experience is a thing. Especially with the experience share, the more Pokemon you have on your team, the better it is. And you have a Magikarp. You can swap around all the typings in the world. Magikarp's always gonna be just a Magikarp. Probably should be a little bit more careful with Yakdik though, because that Badoo really did a number on it. So, are we going to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! Again for half an hour? Potentially. If anybody's watching this that's not in the Discord, by which I mean anybody watching the VOD, because there's not a lot of people watching this live at the moment. To be honest, it is like a Tuesday, and in most American time zones, people are probably like doing school or work-related stuff. So, that's totally fair. I did start watching Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters again. I'm watching Duelist Kingdom right now, and it's really grinding my gears. Just before this stream started, I was actually watching Hardy's stream, but just before that, I was watching the duel against Mako Tsunami, and dude, I really don't like it. Dominic has betrayed us for the Caterpie stream. I get it. I was watching it too. It's fine. Hardy will probably like not be streaming like the entire length of this stream, potentially even. So maybe Dominic will come hang out here after that, and if not, we'll have another stream on Saturday. We'll probably not be doing too much today anyway, other than just like making our way to the next gym. And the next episode we can take on that next gym. I might even do a little bit of off-screen grinding. Because, well, even though it's a live stream, just skipping out on the grinding is always a good thing, in my opinion. So, before we go into the lab, though, I'd very much like to go to the Pokemon Center. You won't let me, okay. Yeah, the ocean just kind of like disappears after there's no moon anymore. And I know the moon has a major effect on the tides, but I don't think the water just entirely disappears when the moon... Also, the fuck... Just have a monster attack the moon. I don't want this to turn into a Yu-Gi-Oh! Stream. I'm going to try to have this not turn into a Yu-Gi-Oh! Stream. I will make no promises about this not turning into a Yu-Gi-Oh! Stream, but I'm going to try. That situation is so ridiculous, they actually made a spell card out of it later. That's how ridiculous that actually is. I mean, I started it. That is totally fair. And I'm going to end it. I'm going to end it all. This is the last stream you'll ever see of me. After this, I'll die. That's not true. But hey, if saying that gets me more people watching, I might as well. That's a really horrible thing to say. That's a Logan Paul kind of thing to say. He wouldn't say it, he'd just do it, to be fair. I mean, I just finished watching Avatar: The Last Airbender and then The Legend of Korra after it. So I needed something new to watch. And I watched some YouTube over the week in between that. But it's like, I like watching YouTube, but like at night when I'm just like sitting down, relaxing, I like just watching 2-3 episodes of a show. And that can be an anime, that can be a wannabe anime, aka Avatar. It can just be a cartoon, I guess. Most of the things that are not anime that I do watch are like Western animes, if that makes any sense. I mean, that's not a question. Preferring Avatar: The Last Airbender or The Legend of Korra is not a question. Anybody who says Korra is just wrong. I'm not one of those people. Okay, we're gonna go into this, right? I'm not one of those people who's like, The Legend of Korra sucks and it should feel bad. And that's not how this works. That's exactly the opposite of how that works. Let's go into a water type. Q-Disp. Europe. But it's not as good as The Last Airbender. At all. I'll give Korra this. Even the worst villain, if you count Season 2's villain as Unalog, not as Vaatu, is a better villain than Ozai will ever be. Ozai is just like more two-dimensional than Vaatu. And that's saying something. And all the villains in The Legend of Korra are amazing. Even Unalog, pretty good. Amon, really good. Amon is probably the best villain in like any avatar ever. That's like including the seasonal antagonists of Last Airbender, which are Zhao and then Long Fang and then I guess Azula. Kind of. Azula's more overarching. I don't think 3 really has... Oh, Combustion Man, to a certain extent. But yeah, no, there's just no argument to make for like as a series as a whole, as an entire product, for Korra to be better than Airbender. It just isn't. I mean, there are, but there are way more the other way around. So I'm almost good until they revealed his backstory. Honestly, I didn't mind it that much. But you're right, it did take away a little bit from him. But they needed to give him a reason. This isn't just going to be an anime-related stream. Just see this as a grinding stream. This is a semi-canon episode for the series. We're not going to be talking too much about the game yet. Because hopefully we'll not be in a situation where that'll actually become very relevant. They needed to give him the power to take away banding as a foil to Korra, because Korra's entire identity is based on being the Avatar, which means she can band all the elements. So he needed to have that power because that is the one thing that would scare the ever-living crap out of Korra. But they need a reason to give him that power. And the only reason he could have gotten that power is if he was given it, or apparently through some kind of highly advanced blood banding, which they never really explain either. But they needed to, like, in order for him to be what he is, they kind of run themselves into a corner, and I don't mind it as much because I think the result of him being this terrifying being is way more effective than his backstory is shitty. That's water typing, so I want to throw in... Who do I want to throw in? Probably just Yakdig because it's neutral. Yeah, the climax was a little bit not that great, I'm going to be honest with you. But honestly, that's what The Legend of Korra has in every single season. It doesn't do a lot of damage. Legend of Korra just doesn't do climaxes very well. I mean, the climax of Season 1, okay. Climax of Season 2 was, what the fuck? Climax of Season 3 was kind of underwhelming. Season 4 was, again, the fuck are you on about? So yeah, no, Legend of Korra, it's got some things going for it. I'm... Currently, well, I haven't started working on it yet, but I've got a rough outline in my head of what the script will look like. A set of videos I'm writing, the first one of which is Yet Another Reason to Hate The Legend of Korra Season 2, which is a very, like, clickbaity title, but I've got a reason I don't like that specific season that I don't hear a lot of people talk about, and I'm not going to go too much into detail until I've got the script written, because I'll make my arguments a lot better and more structured once the script is done. And then I also want to make a video about everything that I do like in The Legend of Korra Season 2, and that is not just Varric. I mean, Varric is a huge part of it, but there's quite a lot of things I do like about The Legend of Korra Season 2, and I think it gets shafted a lot of the time because it's popular to hate on it, and there's reasons enough to hate on it, but I also think people tend to ignore the things that are good about it. As is usual on the internet with things that are not perfect. Okay, so what stars are we going to go with? We chose the grass type last time with Chespin, so we either want to have the fire type or the water type. Actually, we just want to have the fire type because we already have a water type. And getting a new water type will probably be easier than getting a new fire type. Yeah, we need fire. Yeah, okay. Glad we agree on that. So for me, The Legend of Korra did two things right. Season 2 Korra did two things right. Spirituality connecting Vaatu and villains had something to do with aspects of Korra. Okay, not to give too much of... Oh, we need to send somebody to the books. So that is definitely going to be Yumrup, because fuck Yumrup. Okay, one of the things that I do like about The Legend of Korra, specifically Season 2, is that in Season 1 of Korra, they make a point out of saying Korra is very bad at the spiritual side of being the Avatar, while that was Aang's entire thing. Aang was a very talented, like, just banda, but his entire thing was he's very spiritual, and, like, that's his entire conflict in the last episodes of the series, is his spirituality versus what the world needs. But then, by the end of Season 2, Korra is way more in touch with her spirituality than Aang ever was. And that is part of the thing I like about Season 2 of The Legend of Korra. Anyway, Charmander's name. Ratnam Rack. How are we going to do this? Ratnam is... maybe just Ratnam. How about just Ratnam? I'm thinking just Ratnam. Ratch. Nah, we're gonna go with Ratnam. I actually quite like the name Ratnam, honestly. And we're gonna get a Mega Charizard Axe potentially if it survives that long. That wouldn't be a bad thing, necessarily. Can I just say, I don't know, this is probably a very popular opinion, but Mega Charizard X is way cooler than Mega Charizard Y. Mega Charizard Y just kind of like gets a horn. Mega Charizard X is... I know Mega Charizard X is very fanservice-y, because he finally got the Dragon type, and again, it goes back to what I said last stream as well. If you have a dragon, any Pokemon for that matter, but specifically dragons, and they're black, I will like them. I don't know if Y is as much fan service. I feel like the reason Charizard gets 2 is because they wanted to make Mega Charizard, and they made Mega Charizard Y, and then corporate was like, actually, let's make him a dragon, and then they made a Mega Charizard X, because marketability. I feel like that's why there's an X and a Y version. I kind of feel the same about Mewtwo to a certain extent, but I do think that the different versions of Mewtwo are more to do with the fact that there's, like, there's one version in this one, and then there's another version in this one, and that means you need both to completely get everything. It's just like locking content behind a second game, as Pokemon tends to do. But I also feel like they wanted to make Mewtwo X, and then for the movie, they needed Mewtwo Y. That's kind of what I feel like. With Mewtwo, I'm not sure about that. With Charizard, I am willing to bet a lot of money that they just wanted to make Charizard Y, because the changes in design as well, from like Venusaur to Mega Venusaur, Blastoise to Mega Blastoise, Charizard to Charizard Y, are all roughly similar, and then Charizard X just goes absolutely apeshit. Aside from the fact that Charizard is the only Kanto starter and the only Pokemon in general other than Mewtwo to even get 2 Mega Evolutions. So that is my theory on what happened there. I mean, Mewtwo, from a lore perspective, I agree with you, because he is a genetic abomination anyway, and stuff like that. You are entirely correct about that. Can I just, like, leave the city? I didn't think so. Have you been to the cafe already? We need to go to the cafe. I want to go to the cafe. Just let me, please. There's going to be a bit of a slow stream, as I mentioned before. So what are we going to complain about next? We complained about Avatar, we complained about Yu-Gi-Oh!, we complained about Mega Evolutions. Putting my money on that you catch fall through or trap. Wait, trap? I mean, fall through is kinda... Oh crap, I like fall through. I've actually, now that I mention it, I don't think I've ever used a fall through. I really hope I catch one. That would be fun. That's the entire point of nuzlocke at the end of the day. Using Pokemon that you usually wouldn't use. Like a Beedrill. And mashing through dialogue because I'm not even reading what they're saying. It's not as if it matters. I also don't like... Okay, I've got another thing to complain about. Newest complaint is the champion in this region is just... Where is she during all this? I mean... You could say that about a lot of champions, but... Steven was involved in Ruby and Sapphire. I mean, Wallace to a certain extent and Emerald, I suppose. And then we had Cynthia was involved, at least in Platinum, to a certain extent. We had Alder being, well... Could have been more involved, but at least a little. We saw him outside once. And then, just, what is her name even? Diana? She just shows up here and then doesn't show up again until you face her as the champion. Like, isn't that part of the job as champion? Is to also, like, be the military? Diantha is being a model. And in Gen 7 it makes sense because there is no champion yet. You become the champion. And in Gen 8, actually, the champion is a huge plot device. It's a huge part of the plot that, like, the champion and who the champion is and what he does, and he has to, like, go places for, like, publicity and to help out with situations and stuff. That is how a champion should act. And I think Gen 8, that is the one thing. I'll give Gen 8, that's the one thing Generation 8 does spectacularly. It's similar to being an ambassador. Yeah, but an ambassador with guns. Though. Reads a manga, the champion goes on. I know that the manga is interesting. But in that, isn't it just, like, pretty much established as well that the Elite Four and the Champion are kind of more or less just like the Pokemon government? You were right, a Furfrou, but that's because there's probably a fairly high chance of running into a Furfrou to begin with. Which actually probably is a pretty good get in the Reverse-locke, I'd say. But yeah, the manga, I really do need to read it. The thing with me is, I don't like reading. And even manga, which is mostly pictures, I don't like reading. Though, the issue... Wow, your defense is so high. The issue mostly comes in with I don't like reading for, like, extended periods of time. And if I have to read through an entire manga, I just get turned off by it. I read the Dragon Ball Super manga monthly. It's just like a chapter a month. And I keep up with it. That's no issue. And it's actually been really, really good. And I'm really hyped to see what the next chapter is going to be. Because the last, like, 3 chapters have been absolute gold. But just, like, start to finish, fuck you. It's not quite my thing. 20% encounter. Oh, we can groom it, that's right. What does grooming it... What does that do again? Is it just aesthetics, or does it have... I feel like it has a functionality to it as well. Though I don't remember. Liam would be a better champion if he was either a Rick champion. I was thinking that throughout the entirety of the Gen 8 story. is that he was rigged to be the champion, and he was being manipulated, and was actually just really bad. Which also the running joke about him being bad with directions kind of made me feel like that is like the little hint they give you of this guy is actually a total idiot, and that just doesn't really go anywhere. So yeah, I agree with you. He would have been, I mean, as a champion in universe, he does well. As a story device, I agree with you definitely. If he was like manipulated and rigged into being the champion because of the chairman's plans, that would have been a much more interesting story. Anyway, Furfrum's name is going to be... Oh my god, he's got a horrible name as it is anyway. Let's go... Orfru. There we go. Orfruf. Are we going to go Orfru or Orfroth? We're going to go Orfru. I like the name Orfru. One moment. Orfroth would also... I like Orfru. Are we gonna take Orfru on the team is the question. The answer to that is definitely going to be yes, because we've got 2 grass types, which you don't want. Now, one of those grass types is a baby Pokemon, so just fuck it. It doesn't even evolve. It's probably just not going to evolve in this series either, I just realized, because it only evolves with friendship during the daytime, which means that I'm going to have to grind up its friendship. What we're just not going to do, which we're just no. And it only evolves during the daytime, and I only stream this during the evenings. So it's literally impossible to evolve this thing. I might just evolve it off screen at some point if I've got time to do so during the day. Honestly, I might just Pokeax it into a Rosalia, because nobody's gonna care. Badoo is not good. That is the understatement of the century. Badoo is actual trash. I mean, once it evolves twice, it becomes kind of fun, but still, Badoo is super trash. Okay, well, we'll go Groom Furfru, because honestly, again, I've never had a Furfru. Well, I've had a Furfru. No, that can't be true. I've completed the Pokédex in Omega Ruby. I must have had a Furfru. Is this the grooming thing? This looks like it could be the grooming thing. Yeah, it is. No, this is the movie studio, which I'm not working at the moment. I'm not... No. Not working at the moment. Not doing this. So where can I... This is South Boulevard. Where Southern part, go to the center. Oh, and then it is... I really should label these a little bit better. This is... Oh, we could also go into the boutique. Do we have enough money to go into the boutique and buy like at least like a new jacket or something? Where can I see how much money? My trainer card, obviously. Only 4,000. We'll come back here. When we come back here, we'll get ourselves some new clothes. This is a cafe. You can't groom your furfur in a cafe. Alumia's boutique is not accessible to those style points. You're right. That's stupid mechanic. I remember. So You're gonna tell me where to go, because I don't like the camera. I really don't like the camera in this little avenue here. Stone Imperium, that sounds... Next to the herbicide, that really doesn't sound very good. First place is the second gym for clothes. Okay, that's good to know. Oh, here, furfru. I wrote furfru. Let's do it. What kind of style are we thinking of? You get to choose. Are we gonna go heart, star, diamond? Well, neutral we already have. Heart, star, or diamond? If you say heart, I'll kill you. What's your favorite color? Oh, it's got colors, right? Which colors are they? Are they red, blue, and green? Are they red, blue? They have to be red, blue, and green, right? Just give me something. As long as it's not green. I'd really rather not have a green furfru. Star. I swear to God, if this is the green one, I'll... Colors are pink, blue, and orange. Oh my. Star is blue. Blue is fine then. I don't know if I'd call that fine. I still think, honestly, I like furfru's like original design. Question. Hold on a moment. Question time. I can go into that salon to go groom my furfru, and they can add his hair back, because he's got a naked butt right now, which must be very cold as well. Let's go to the Pokemon Center, and I could choose back to normal, which means that they like have a tube of super glue and just like a bag of furfru hair in the back, and just glue it back onto his body. Surely. That's what that means, right? I'm sure somebody's made like fan art of that already, right? Or like some comic, something like that. They groom a lot of furfru, say they glue it back on. There you go. That makes sense though. They would have a surplus of furfru hair, and they just have to invest in a little bit of super glue. That's the one thing I'll give X and Y, and they did really well, is it's not an open world game. Let me preference whatever I'm about to say by that. X and Y, still not open world games. Hardly any Pokemon games are open world. The first generation is the closest you got to open world, and after that, it's not a game meant to be open world. But X and Y feels a lot more like a world rather than a path for you to walk on. Because you have these side things, you have these boutiques, you have these salons, you have these cafes, all with like actual purpose, and you can actually use them for something. And I really, really like that. I'll give them credit for that, that's really cool. Yeah, it looks and feels so much more alive, and in combination with the fact that this was the first time they went into 3D, they really nailed that part of it. That's not going to be super effective. They really nailed that part of it, and I really do think that that is wonderfully done. And I also just realized that if they have a electric type move, Chester actually is weak to it now, so... Let's pay a little bit more attention to the game. Again, not a very game-centric stream today, probably, but a little bit more attention than I'm currently paying to the game might not be a bad idea. Yeah, Galar definitely is like the has the Skyrim issue of being wide as an ocean, shallow as a pool. Whereas I honestly think if it comes to just like world building, let's call it world building. I know it's not technically a very correct term for it, but let's call it world building nonetheless because it suits me in this argument right now. As far as like the world building for the region goes, I think Kalos might do the most right in the entire series. I'm thinking, because Kanto is a lot more open, but it still feels like it's a bunch of gyms. I mean, there's the one city where there's a non-official gym, the fighting type one, that had some potential, but it's still just like a couple of dots on a map to like go check off. Gen 2 had that a little bit less in my opinion. I don't exactly know why Gen 2 did that better, but Gen 2 did do that better. I think Gen 3, definitely. Gen 3, if you just look at the map, you wouldn't say it's very linear, but Gen 3 is very linear. I just think that their map design for the region is wonderfully done. At least in the originals. In the remakes, it's not as organic the way you move through it, but the way you organically move through the map in Gen 3, just like going to Morville and then going north and then making your way around and then making your way back to Paddlebrook and then going back to Morville and then you can use Serve and go to the other side of the region. The way that organically works, I really think is done wonderfully well. I really think that's done very, very well. Kalos and Alola, as Alola's entire theming of family and Aboy and Breaking Night culture spread through the entire game. I mean, I don't think they're necessarily related in such a direct way, but I think I do agree with you still. That's potentially not good. Alola also did a very, very good job with just like... I don't mind Gen 7. I don't mind Gen 7. I don't love it. I don't think a lot of people love it. But I think it does a couple of things very well. And honestly, the fact that they experimented with a game where you don't take on 8 gyms and then in the Elite 4 with a champion... That's just worth a lot in just credit. The fact that don't forget, we're not talking about like a small indie studio that's doing something different. We're not talking about a sequel that's doing something different. We're talking about a series that's been going for 20 plus years at that point, changing up their formula significantly. At least like the gym formula, right? I'm still very impressed that they did that, and I understand that they went back to doing gyms, and honestly, the fact that in Gen 8 the gyms are more woven into the story rather than being just checkpoints to go through during the story is a huge improvement. But I do think it would be fun to not necessarily just get rid of gyms altogether, but if you have the gyms, make them more involved in the story. Like, oh my god, that was a lot of damage. Make them more involved in the story like in Gen 8. Or just don't be afraid to change it up sometimes. Like, the Iron Trials were fun. Maybe the next region will be based on... I don't know. Give me a country. Give me a country to base a region on. I don't fucking know. Let's make... Okay. The next region would be based on the Netherlands. And instead of battling... This is really like almost racist, but I'm Dutch myself, so it's okay. Instead of battling through gym leaders, you have to buy the gym badges. Because Dutch people are cheap fucks and always want to make money. That's at least the stereotype, right? So... It's a very bad example, but at least like somebody with a little bit more creativity than me could come up with something better. And I do think changing things up a little bit like that, not every generation, but like every now and then, or like maybe, I don't know. It's a very difficult balance to get right, but I think not being stuck with doing the 8 gyms thing, or maybe even just do a game with 10 gyms. There was all the opportunity to do that in Gen 8, to have more gyms, because they even had game-specific gyms. They could have just had like 9 or 10 gyms in that region. And the fact that they did a game-specific gym in and of itself, also really cool. Also, I think that Gen 8 is the first time you have had a doctor. I would have liked a pension. Now they just need to make a gym plus trial a thing, where trials are optional to get specific items, or open up wild area like routes. Greece and Italy. Greece and Italy would be interesting. So you... I was going to make a pizza joke, but I couldn't come up with a good pizza joke. So I'm not going to make a pizza joke. How much damage they're going to do? Let's switch out. Let's just run away. How about that? Dutch, by doing the gym trials, you dry up or cultivate specific points in the region to get more Pokemon from other regions' trade culture. See? Could be fun. Could be fun, could be interesting. Or you could, like, just... I mean, you could just sell Pokemon, because we also have a pretty significant slavery history. Which, nothing to be proud of. But we do. Not something Pokemon is going to mention, I'm sure. But it could, honestly... It would be a PR disaster, but it would be interesting, not necessarily to make it in the Netherlands, but to make like a story based on... Oh, wait a moment. They already did that. I was gonna say, it would be interesting to make a story based on like the way Pokemon and humans like interact, and the fact that Pokemon might not want to be enslaved by humanity, and a evil quote-unquote team that's trying to liberate the Pokemon. That's literally the story of Black and White, though. So, yeah, they already kind of did that. Slavery of boy and Pokemon will not be possible with current real-life laws. That's why they cannot be bought from the casinos anymore. I don't know if that is true. I know that the casinos were removed from Pokemon because they gave them a PAGI 12 rating. It's not PAGI, is it? It is, I think, in Europe. In Europe, the Europe rating was 12 and up because they had gambling elements in it. And as such, they removed the casino and game corner just altogether from every game. Like Gen 3 still have them, Gen 4 and onwards, I think. Maybe there's some separate laws concerning buying the Pokemon, but I very much doubt that a law like that would be applicable to buying virtual pets in a game. I mean, in that case, Nintendogs would also not be allowed because you buy dogs in it. They're literally pets. The slavery part, I'm with you there. That's horrible. But buying Pokemon, being banned on some laws, I'd be interested to learn more about that. But that does seem like potentially some only half, like, true facts based on some misinformation, potentially. Or I'm just wrong, which is also very possible. Okay, for your new Pokemon game, you win the game by either beating all of the gyms, do all the trials, or contest Pokeathlons. That is interesting. So you get to choose. It really becomes an RPG at that point, with like classes and stuff. Each of these sections focuses on a specific relationship with Pokemon. That idea I really do like. I like that idea. Give me some of that. How many Pokeballs do I have left for my upcoming encounter? Permeable, 12 Pokeballs. I think we should be fine. Wait a moment. We don't have a separate Pokeball pouch anymore in... in X and Y? Oh, we need to go into this castle, of course. Yeah. Gym, battling and bonding, trials, culture and dependency, contests, sociology, and misuse of Pokemon. How would that be? Like, the fact that they're using contests instead of battles makes them feel superior because they're not making the pets beat each other up? And that is how, like, the misuse element comes in? Or do you mean the contests are misused? Because out of those three things, I definitely say the contests probably least misuse. But hey, maybe I'm misunderstanding. Go to Route 7. I mean, I'm not paying attention to the game. Okay, who gives a shit about the game? I think we're probably going to call it maybe... I'm not going to say what we call it. Probably after Route 7 and the castle place. Oh wait, we've got Route 6 and Route 7. So we've got an encounter opportunity. I mean, it's going to be Snorlax. I just realized. It's just going to be Snorlax. Unless... if we go south, can we encounter a Pokemon there? I don't think we can. Pokemon are abused or drugged up to score better in the contest. Protein, calcium, overuse, subtle. I guess. But that's not very contest specific. Because for battling, especially like competitive level battling, you could also make that argument. As a matter of fact, you know the video that we're... sure. You know the video that's like a couple of years old at this point, where somebody is just trying to... I don't remember what it is. It's an animated video though, where somebody is trying to breed a perfect Pokemon, and you just see a pile of discarded I think they're Bulbasaur, to the side because they're not actually 100% perfect IVs, and just right after they're born they're discarded. That's also kind of dark. And then of course you've got Pokemon Go, where any Pokemon you don't want gets turned into candy. Which also isn't the joke I came up with, but not any less true despite it. Yeah, so there's only berry bushes here, which we don't really care about. So our encounter for Route 6, I guess, is just going to be Snorlax, or are we going to count Snorlax as not an encounter and have a randomized encounter? Because I could see a decent argument for that, to be honest. Are we literally not going to encounter anything in the trees here? Huh. I've never made it through there without getting jumped. That is really weird. There were indeed Bulbasaur's Route 6 randomized encounter. Yeah, I kind of... Route 7, I think you mean. I kind of agree with that. Because otherwise... I didn't even know an Encarta was a... Wait a moment. Wait. What are Shedinja's weaknesses in this version of the game? Because Wonder Guard Shedinja might actually be really good. It's Ghost Bug. So it's still going to be... What is it going to be weak against? Could you figure that out for me, please? What is Shedinja weak against in this version of the game? Because that might be very fun, especially since it is a challenge based on super effectiveness and typings. Might be really fun to go with a Shedinja. Gets immunity turned up to a weakness, then he becomes crap. No, immunities have been swapped as well, I think. So, where previously ground was immune to electricity, now electricity is immune to ground. So, for let me think for a moment. So for the ghost type part of Shedinja, I think how it would work is normal is now. I don't know how normal and ghost work because they're probably still just both immune to each other. But for instance, with fighting, I think fighting will no longer. Ghost will no longer be immune to fighting, and instead fighting will be immune to ghost. I think that's how that works. Wait, really? I mean, the moment he gets burned, if anybody has Will-O-Wisp, he's done. If anybody has got Toxic, he's done. If anybody's got Poison Powder, he's done. But is that really true? I mean, I believe you. I 100% believe you, but I need to double check this, because if that's the case, I also need to ask Dominic for clarification on the immunity thing. Shedinja weaknesses and resistances and stuff. Where is my Cerebi? 292. It's very difficult to determine it in this game. Yeah. I mean, okay, so what I've got here is Shedinja is usually weak to fire, but that's going to be resisted now. Oh, that is a very good question. That is actually a very good point. Would it still be its original weakness? Probably not, because you can hack Wonder Guard onto things like Sableye and make them immune. So there are a couple of things that it is actually resisting to. Usually it would resist grass, poison, ground, bug. Those are usually resisted. Those are going to be super effective now. Usually fighting and normal it's immune to. But those are not going to be relevant for the question I have right now. So it's going to be weak to grass, poison, and ground and bug types. So that's 4 typings it could potentially die to. Rather than, well, it usually would be 4 as well. That being fire, flying, rock, ghost, and dark. Fire, flying, rock, ghost, and... Actually, it only has 4 rather than 5 now. So it becomes a little bit better. I gotta ask Dominic about how Shedinja would work. If he were here, that would be very helpful. He isn't. So do remind me to shoot him a message. In the meantime, we're going to call you Edignin. Actually, we can just do Edignin. Yeah, Edignin, there we go. Which actually, I know we've been talking a lot about... Oh, Chesser's of all things. I know we've been talking a little bit about Yu-Gi-Oh! But that Edignin sounds like the name from one of the final season characters from Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters. I don't know which one it is. I think it's the antagonist, Akhenaten. Which obviously is based on a real Egyptian person. But I don't know the actual... I don't like this design. It's just so goofy. We don't need to do much more battling today, so I won't go back to the Pokemon Center right away. I think just doing the Perfume Palace and then ending it for today would... Quilladin is a non-pop from Xenoblade. I've still not played Xenoblade. I know I am a horrible person for not doing that. But honestly, I mean, what platforms is Xenoblade on? And how many Xenoblade games are there at this point? 1,000? Does it cost 1,000 to get in here? That's bullshit. I'm like very... Xenoblade Games 3. On what platforms are they? I know one is on the Wii. And at least it used to be very rare. I don't know if it still is. The original on the Wii. The OG games for the Wii, 3DS and Switch. Or is it the OG games for Xenoblade X for the Wii U? Okay, so that's just a lost game that nobody's ever going to be playing again. And Xenoblade 2 is for the Switch. So you could play the OG on the Switch, then go back to the Wii U, and then play Xenoblade 2 on the Switch. That's not that bad. Xenoblade Definitive Edition is what I've been playing during this stream. Which is the OG game for the Switch, I'm assuming. I mean, I can't complain about any series being split over a lot of consoles because I've played every Kingdom Hearts game known to man. Other than like the web exclusive Japanese browser game and then the first version of the mobile game, and then there was a rebrand to the mobile game which I did play for a little while, but it's really kind of a bad game, so I just like look up the cutscenes on YouTube now and it's a whole thing. But as far as real games go, I've played them all on their original console, other than Codad, which was originally a mobile game, but I've played Recodad on the DS. And I bought a PSP for Birth by Sleep. I played Birth by Sleep and Crisis Core on that, and then like some weird Dragon Ball game. And that's everything I ever used my PSP for. It was not a great console. Oh, you asked Dominic? That's great. Shedinja is weak to flying, ground grass, normal as well, of course. Poison and bug, which is good for later in the game. I guess it's not particularly great though. I'm gonna be honest. It could be better. I was kind of hoping that it would be increased in usefulness due to the. I mean, it's still gonna be fun to use it just because we're doing a challenge based on typings, as I said before. So it'll still be fun to use a Shedinja when we get the opportunity to. So we will. It'll probably die very quickly, but I'll give it a try. I also have a Ninjask in Pokemon Through the Years. I've been thinking about maybe if something dies on the team, I might want to. Fuck off. So how do we do this again? Oh, I know how we do this. So yeah, Pokemon Through the Years. We have a Ninjask, or not a Ninja, a Nincada, I'm sorry. We have a Nincada. And we've had it in the box for like an entire generation at this point. And I just realized, I always liked Ninjask's gimmick. Like a lot actually. It's unreasonable to like it as much as I do. But maybe I want to use it. Though it's not actually that useful, all things considered. But if you're up against like a fighting type or something like that, which can't hit you anyway, in the normal typing matchups that is, it's a really good way to just heal up the rest of your team. It's an amazing wall. And even if that fighting type has something like Foresight, it's not going to do anything, because it'll only do neutral damage, not become suddenly super effective. So if you know when to send it out, it's great. But it also takes up an entire slot on your team for very, very specific situations, which in most nuzlocke situations is probably not really what you want. Yeah, I really like the Pokemon when they have signature abilities and gimmicks to go with them, honestly. I know a lot of other people don't like gimmicks. I kind of like gimmicks, because otherwise Pokemon just at some point, especially now that we're about at 1,000 different Pokemon, they just kind of start to blend together and become forgettable. And I know you can't give every single Pokemon a unique gimmick, obviously, because that would be insane. But a couple more Pokemon with interesting gimmicks, and not evolution gimmicks, for fuck's sake, please. But just like an interesting ability. Melmoth's quite funny. Yeah, okay, that's an evolutionary gimmick though, but that one is quite fun. It's like level 30 plus, and you have to turn your DS upside down when it levels up or something, right? I also like the, what's the whipped cream one from Gen 8? That's also a very fun gimmick, I think. It's fitting for the Pokemon. It's really interesting, it's really fun, and it doesn't break in future generations as well, which is very important because, of course, we have a situation now where we don't necessarily need to have all Pokemon in every single future Pokemon game, but that's been an issue for a while. Like, oh, we need a magnetic place to be able to evolve Magnezone and Probopass and those kind of Pokemon. You can always just run around on the spot to evolve the whipped cream Pokemon. Well, item plus spin in place, but the item then determines what, like, flavor it is, I think, right? And the different the different outcomes based on how you spin, what direction you spin, how long you spin, all that kind of thing. I don't know what the variables are exactly, but I know there's a lot of variables, and technically speaking, there's like 38 evolutions for it, something like that, which is very fun. The Moss Stone and Ice Rock have already been replaced by Leaf Stone and Ice Stone. Yeah, that's a real good call. Especially since there was already a Leaf Stone. Item determines the flavor and accessory, clover, cherry, strawberry. So yeah, how many combinations of evolutions are there, everything counted up together? Because I believe it's 63 plus one mystery gift form. So, but really, it's 63. That's 63 evolutions you can get. I kind of like that. I know I just said that I don't like evolutionary gimmicks. That is an exception. Is it an exception? I don't know. I think that might be an exception. I don't think I like a lot of other ones. I used to like Milotic, and I'm very glad that Milotic doesn't evolve the way it did any longer. And I only realized that because I see Milotic statue here. But having Feebas being a very ugly Pokemon and needing to max out its beauty stat in order to evolve it into a Milotic, which is a very beautiful Pokemon, actually I quite like that. It was also very challenging, not like having access to the entirety of the internet as a database for, okay, exactly these berries like this are going to get you the easiest max beauty stat. Just trying to figure that out on your own. If you had a Feebas you messed up, you just needed to breed a new Feebas. I didn't realize that back in the day, that you could just breed a new Feebas. So what I did, and this is maybe more like my own nostalgia, rather than it actually being a fun gimmick, what I did is I saved, I fed it all the Pokeblocks, I tested if it would evolve, and if it didn't, I would just reset and do it all over again, rather than just making a new Feebas. Once I got a Milotic, I started breeding those Feebas, by the way. I was my local school's Feebas trader. I got so many good Pokemon for so many Feebas. One dude gave me his Deoxys for my Milotic. I was like, sure, get my Milotic. I've got a box full of Feebas. I'll have a new one tomorrow. I got a Deoxys for a Milotic. I highly doubt it was a legal Deoxys, but still, I got one. It was probably like the best like my Pokemon career has ever been, and it was years before starting YouTube. And somehow nobody realized, I mean, I should have realized that before my first evolution into Milotic, but nobody ever realized, for some reason, that after they got my Feebas, they could trade that, they could make their own Feebas army. Or I just never realized that they also were doing that, but I still got like a lot of trades, like a lot of good trades. I got all of the Starsers, I got some legendaries for Feebas. It's ridiculous how like good the trades were for Feebas back in the day. It's also because people just were stupid and like 10 years old, admittedly. So yeah, gimmicks do need to make sense. I do agree, and that one makes sense. Love Milotic, hate to acquire Milotic. I liked the idea, but I'm very glad that after like 1 or 2 generations, they just gave it an evolution item. I think they have like level up with Dragon Scale or something like that right now. Something like that, I don't know. Let's do our Route 7 encounter and then potentially call it a day. We're just going to murder the Snorlax. The Snorlax fight is going to be filler. The Snorlax fight will not be canon. Trade with Prism Scale. The fact that you need to trade for it kind of bothers me because it wasn't a trade evolution before, so making it into a trade evolution, you should just have it be level up with, honestly. I know that any chance Game Freak, more likely the Pokemon Company itself, gets to force you to have like a trade transaction, pretty much is just very good for that bottom line. So they'll do that whenever they get the chance. Still, I accept trade. I accept trade evolutions for what they are. A necessary evil. Well, not necessary, but they're not going to disappear. But making a Pokemon that was previously not a trade evolution into a trade evolution is really bitchy. Yeah, Sword and Shield did that very right. Trade evolutions can be caught in the wild area. That's amazing. Can all the trade evolutions be caught in the wild area? Like, including Milotic? Because I've seen Conkeldurrs, and I think I've seen a couple, but I don't know if... I mean, maybe Milotic is not even in Sword and Shield. I keep forgetting Sword and Shield doesn't actually have all Pokemon. So how am I going to deal with this Snorlax, is the question. You probably have Thick Fat, so not with fire. Steelix, Milotic, Gengar, Conkeldurr, Gigalith, and Dusknoir. Politoed in the DLC. So I'm assuming Alakazam still exists in Gen 8, because Alakazam is a very, very iconic and popular Pokemon. So, are there still trade evolutions which you cannot actually catch, like, in-game? That is pathetic! It might be easier for me to catch this thing than kill it. Which, in and of itself, pretty pathetic. When does the egg deck evolve? Not at all if this keeps happening. I guess Chester again? Abra's not catchable in the current Sword and Shield. Okay. It hopefully will be added in the DLC then. Or at least a patch for the DLC. This is gonna take forever. Oh, you're using a lot of defense curls. Wait, can I just run away from this fight? You can just run away from this fight! Pidgey 18, okay. I always think for some reason that Pidgey evolves at the same level as the starter Pokemon, which is usually around 16. Though I guess 18 is not too far off. Gonna be honest though, that Snorlax was a real issue. Could have been a real big issue. Was a minor issue, but an issue nonetheless. Couldn't have caught it anyway, probably. Because I needed to get it down to low health. And we already agreed that we're gonna go for a random encounter here, because otherwise you just know it's gonna be Snorlax. That's no fun. Hopefully it'll be a good end of the stream and we'll get like a Rayquaza. I know there's not a randomizer, but still I want to run into a Rayquaza and get it in a Pokeball. Or 5 Psyduck, which is pretty much the next best thing. Especially since we already have a Psyduck. And I'm still trying to press the speed button, which I haven't mapped. I probably should, because I think the emulator does have a speed button functionality. I just haven't mapped it. Okay, second try. Rayquaza. Fucking Volbeat. Volbeat. Is there anybody in this universe who actually likes Volbeat and Illumise? I think I have an Illumise in 30 years. I'm gonna spoil you on this. I'm not gonna use it until it's the last option I have, which probably means I'm just not gonna use it because as we're going right now, we're gaining Pokemon, I think. So, that being said, Distortion World's probably gonna annihilate me because it always does. Quite good in this game, it's only weak to fighting ground and grass. That's true, but remember last time when we talked about Sableye being shit? Sableye is weak to nothing, but it's still quite shit. So, types aren't every... Oh, I'm sorry for hitting the desk, that probably was very loud. Yeah, types aren't everything. They're very important, but if you have a, like, a Dark Ghost Sunkern, still very shitty. Because it's a fucking Sunkern. Question. Am I correct in remembering that Moonlight heals more during night? Because this might be an endless battle if that's the case. Maybe I just shouldn't be out with... Oh, that's super effective. That's super effective. Of course it is. Oh, that's... it's not time specific. Okay. Does it heal less when Sunny Day is used? I feel like there's like a gimmick with Moonlight. Moonlight heals more during... Oh, it heals more during Sunny Day. That makes no sense. Why would Moonlight heal more during a sunny day? I mean, I know Moonlight is sunlight that gets bounced off the surface of the moon, but just stick with me here. From an emotional perspective, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Also, viewers are increasing. I'm guessing hardly end of the stream. Oh, translation error. Well, no. That can't be a translation error. The animation is literally a moon. Oh, I didn't nickname it. I'll do that in Pokédex. Sunny Day is translated Japanese. Oh, Clear Skies. Sunny Day is mistranslated. That makes more sense. So I was actually gonna end it here, but we're with 3 people watching now. So that makes me think maybe we should be going like 20 minutes more, maybe. Wait a second, there's a rival battle coming up, isn't there? It's a double battle because that's the one. That's the one in the randomizer which fucked me so bad. I think it had like a Heatran and it was 12 Pokemon in total and it was so horrible. Yeah, maybe we should do that when I'm paying a little bit more attention to the game and not half asleep. That being said, no, it's not gonna have 12 Pokemon here. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the next town. That seems fair. It's not going to be as horrible as it was then, because it's not going to have 12 Pokemon all at max IVs and shit like that, so... I don't really care about the daycare. I don't need my Pokemon to make babies. I can't. I literally cannot do that, because Dupe's Claws. Like, by definition, anything that will come out of the egg will be a Dupe's Claws. 2 additional encounters. 2? Really? 2? I don't want to encounter any trainer Pokemon if at all possible. You get stopped on this route quite a lot, don't you? I think you can just skip this one though, right? Yeah, this one you can just skip. Cave and outside the cave, that's a separate area, that's right. honestly, if we make it through the reverse lock, maybe I'll do a randomizer reverse lock next. That will require... I don't even know if that, like, mixes. But it feels like it would be fun to do a randomizer reverse lock. But only and only if we actually make it through this without too much trouble. Because right now, obviously, we can prepare. We can know we're going to go into a rock-type gym. I think the next one's rock-type, right? Maybe? I don't know. That's going to be resist. Muscle memory be damned. But if everything is randomized, that becomes significantly more of an issue. I've got a fire type. But is it a little bit on weak side? Maybe not. Gym, rock fighting. Yeah, rock is the next one. So going into the rock type gym, we will know that we probably want to use flying type moves. So we need to make sure that Yak Dig is in top shape. Obviously, you don't have that advantage with a randomizer. That's the entire thing about a randomizer. But I guess if we make it through this, that is evidence enough for me that I can do this. And I didn't buy any more potions. So, fuck me. Do I have orange berries? I've got orange berries. It's not very good, but it's better than nothing. At this point in the game, it's not too bad, actually. And Pikachu is just dead. You could have used Pack a little bit earlier. That would have helped me a lot. And Rednam is probably going to evolve after this battle as well, which would be real nice. Please use it on Fletchling. Yeah, Fletchling can die. I don't really care. And then you have a Flabébé, which... How does Fire and Fairy interact again? Does it also resist fire? I think it might also resist fire. This feels so wrong on so many levels, using Amber against a Corpfish. But it works. It works. Still, feels wrong. Feels very, very wrong. Oh. Orthro actually wants to learn a useful move. I guess we get rid of Growl. Wouldn't it be amazing if status moves also were reversed? So Growl would increase the opponent's attack and Howl would decrease yours. I wouldn't have any use to it, but it would be at least a little funny. So how does Amber interact with Flabébé? I guess Breakshin... It's neutral. Okay, it's just neutral. But that's super... It's the other way around! It's fire resists fairy, but now is weak to it. Okay, let's move the hell out. I have no idea what fairy's resistances are. I know it's weak to... I mean, dragon, obviously. I know it's weak to steel, and I think poison. But that doesn't answer my question. That answers the question of what do I not use against it. I guess what I use against it is just the highest level Pokemon I have. Or normal types. Normal types are a really good, like, just backup plan for this. Dominic was right about that. Normal types are really just... You're always right with normal types. Okay, do we have quick attack yet? I think we might. We do. And that's Flabébé done. Bug, Dark, and Fighting is the answer for Fairy. That is good to know. I'll probably forget it before the next stream, so please do remind me again if I end up fighting another Fairy type, which I will, because it got introduced in this generation, so they throw you to death with it. Whirlwind. I'm gonna not learn Whirlwind if you don't mind. I don't think there's any more trainer battles between. That's 3,000 Poké-Dollars. That is as much as I had in my pocket at the moment. Almost, I think. Let's lead with Yak Deck because we know that next gym is going to be Yak Deck Central. And this is likely just going to be a Zubat because it literally is called Zubat Roost. It's not. It's a complicated typing. It's a really complicated typing. It's that could be that could be good, I guess. I like Meditite and Medicham. Can I be honest with you? Part of the reason I like Medicham is because of Mystery Dungeon. Pretty much any Pokemon that appears in Mystery Dungeon with speaking lines, I have like a 50% more chance of actually liking that Pokemon. If it's the first game or the Explorer games. So Red, Blue or Time, Darkness and Sky. Specifically Sky, obviously. If any Pokemon has like any type of semi-major role in any of those games, I have a nice like boost into how much I like that Pokemon. Gengar? I actually like Gengar, regardless. Kecleon. Kecleon is an example. I don't really like Kecleon that much, but I like it more because it is a Mystery Dungeon as a like important, well, not important character, but it's like a merchant in there, and it's like it's got a bit of a spotlight on it in that game, and because I like the game, by extent, I like Kecleon just a tiny bit more. Meditite's new weaknesses are Rock and Fighting. That is actually not too bad. It's not great for the upcoming gym. It's at the... Wait a second, how are we going to pronounce it? That's... Atitidum? Atitidum. That's... The YouTube captions are going to have a feel there with that. Atitidum. Oh. I thought there weren't going to be any more... you've got 4! It's just a breeder. They're all going to be weak Pokemon. It's fine. It's fine. I'm leading with Yak Deck, who is half dead. But it's fine. Let's use Q-Disc. We haven't used Q-Disc in a while. That was a critical hit. Okay, I was going to say that did a lot of damage. A lot more than a shooter from a Ducklet. Unless it's a critical hit, I can probably live another one. I can. That was really risky. Probably shouldn't have done that. But hey, life is not worth living if you can't take a bit of a risk. That's not true at all. Don't take like major life-threatening risks. Dragon Rage. Hell yeah. That's just does 40 HP damage, right? Hell yeah. I don't even care about typing anymore when I can just do 40 HP damage flat. That is an amazing move as well for this. I didn't even think about that. But things like Sonic Boom and Dragon Rage are also going to be really good for this. And then obviously with Chester. Do not take vloggers' advice. You never should. Just to be transparent here, if I say you should do something, that's probably a very good reason not to do that thing. Other than when I tell you to subscribe to my channel. And leave a like on the video. And leave a comment because it's good for the YouTube algorithm. And follow me on like Twitter and Instagram. TikTok, you can do whatever the fuck you want. I only have it because it's like a trendy thing to do right now. Then there's also Facebook, which I don't really care about, but it's a thing, and videos do get posted there. So just follow me on social media. That's also a thing you should do when I say it. But other than that, if it's like any like life advice related thing, don't do what I say. I'm a horrible people. I'm a horrible people. Yeah, let's just stop it there. I'm a horrible people. Talk difficult. Vlogger, brain dead. Again, nothing new there. I was waiting for that one. Aldo, you could please just do a little bit more. I'm not gonna get your Mega Stone. Wait a second. It might not even have a Mega Stone in X and Y. Did it get a Mega Stone in X and Y or only in a Mega Ruby Alpha Sapphire? I think it got one in X and Y. I'm not gonna get it until post game anyway, which means I'm not gonna get it. So please at least just learn a decent move. Beedrill is Auras. I was afraid of that. Again, most Mega Stones are post game anyway. I think the only Mega Stones that are not post game might actually just be your starter and the Lucario, right? Everything after that is just post game. Which honestly I don't like. I think more Mega Evolutions should be available to you during the game itself. But I might be missing a couple of Mega Stones you can get during the game. I don't think there are though. Well, unless you count Mewtwo, but Mewtwo also is post game, I think. The Mewtwo just comes with his Mega Stone, I'm pretty sure. Such a weird thing that Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire added Mega Evolutions inside the same generation. Though that being said, ever since like Gen 6 and that happening, the divide between one generation to the next has become more and more blurry every single generation. So maybe at some point there won't necessarily be new generations anymore, but you're like, here's a batch of 20 new Pokemon into this game. And then a new region. Probably not, because it's a lot less marketable that way. But the divides have been getting more and more blurry over the last like 5 or so years. Starts Lucario, Abomasnow, Aerodactyl, Ampharos, Blaziken, Mystery Gift. Yeah, only Mystery Gift, and Gengar. Those are all during the main game. That is a lot more than I thought, to be honest. I don't have strength. Wait, where do I go? Huh? I'm confused. Do I have strength? I don't think I've got strength. Yakdeck is also about to evolve. Do I just not go into... I'm pretty sure you go into this cave. Do you... Oh my god, I went into the wrong area. This is it. You could have told me that a little bit sooner. You could have told me that a little bit sooner. At least I didn't get a damn Whismur. Fun fact, Xcloud used to be the channel like mascot, quote unquote, the icon for the channel, and like the branding used to be Xcloud based before Totodile came along and took that spot, and it's never gonna let it go again. I mean, fair, backseat gaming can be annoying. Ooh, I like it! Another Pokemon, I mean, that's just from Mystery Dungeon that I like very much based on the fact that it is in Mystery Dungeon. I also like Absol for itself. Also, I like Mega Absol decently enough. But I like Absol. I mean, isn't that kind of like the idea of being a YouTuber? Is that you are very loud? So, yeah, kinda. That's what I've been doing all these years, just shouting into a microphone, hoping that that is what the professionals do. Hasn't really worked out for me so far. Fuck you with your critical hits! Wait, doesn't fur coat... I mean, fur coat just like halves the damage, right? Doubles your defense. One or the other. Which effectively almost is the same thing. Almost. Technically speaking, there's a very small difference between the two. But it's almost the same. Or am I misremembering this? We've got a Pajota now though, which is neat. So the name Yagdig doesn't apply anymore. Now it's Otto Egg. That. Let's see, what is your ability? Half the damage from physical moves, yeah. I mean, that's decent enough for catching Pokemon. For like, as just like a stalling wall. That's decent enough. But I was trying to deal damage there, which didn't end up working out too well for me, did it? I wouldn't mind an Axew. That's not true. I would very much mind getting an Axew right now. Because Axew would probably die before it becomes anything good. But you are now weak to grass, so fuck you. Furfur would be... oh, you already said that. I'm just rereading the same chat because I'm lonely. I said this was going to be a shorter stream. We're an hour and a half in anyway. That does a lot of damage. I might need to do a little bit of grinding before the next gym. I don't know what levels the next gym is going to have. But seeing as how we're running to level 20 trainers right now, it's probably safe to say that a little bit extra experience wouldn't hurt. Interesting point. In Xenoblade, you can 1 kilometer down. Hope you're not afraid of heights. Did you mean climb? Oh, Meanfear would have been nice. It doesn't like evolve until very late, but I like Meanchow as well. I don't like heights. Yeah, jump 1 kilometer. That's no. Thing is, I don't mind heights in like video games and stuff. I don't think a lot of people do. Of course, I'm not very good with heights. I'll be honest with you there. I get a little bit shaky when I'm high up. I don't mind being high inside of a... Wait. Okay, I'm going to finish that sentence. But do understand the context. I don't mind being high inside of a building. Oh, that's going to make for a great clip. But it's just like when I'm on like a rail or like not a railing, not a rail. That would be weird. When I'm on like against a railing or anything else, which still is safe, but if I'm like exposed to the same air that is also down there, is that if there's not like a wall, like a solid wall with windows, obviously are okay, then I get bothered by heights. The moment you put a wall there, if it's like just a building, like a skyscraper or a one of those really like just high buildings, I don't mind those as much. But then when you're on a building like that and you have like a balcony, I'm not going on my balcony. Yeah, the thing though is, even with a gondola, which is really funny, because even with a gondola, which I wouldn't very much like, I wouldn't mind it as much if it's a closed off gondola. Same with the Ferris wheel. I don't like Ferris wheels, and especially if it's a Ferris wheel that's not permanently installed somewhere, but one of those which is like just gets put down for a fair and then broken down again and put up somewhere else a week later. I don't trust those at all. But if it's a Ferris wheel and the carriages are not fully closed off, I'm not going on it. The moment you fully close off those carriages, I have no problem. I'm totally fine as long as you've got a door in it, which just like a fully enclosed area. I don't mind. It's the opposite of being claustrophobic. It's really weird. It's really, really weird. But it's literally like the opposite of being claustrophobic, but with like heights involved. So it's a little bit more complicated. But I'm going to leave it there for today because I'm giving you way too much fuel for evil plans. And at this point, it's just a conversation between two people. And we are getting close to some like meaningful story shit happening again. Like a gym battle and stuff. So Saturday, we'll be continuing with the third episode of the Pikmin X Reverse-locke here on the channel. And maybe it'll be some more people. Maybe not. I don't know. Can I like run an ad for one person? That would be funny. I don't think you can... two people actually. I'm sorry. I don't think you can actually manually run ads on YouTube. On Twitch you can, but I'm not a Twitch partner, so, and I don't stream on Twitch, so that's really useless information. So see you on Saturday. Bye bye.